Okay, we're back. Down lower. Okay, I think these are lifter blocks or something. I feel like Big Twin. Probably panhead. Get these cut open here. No extra charge for rust. Oh, these are shovelhead. Late model stuff. These are late model parts. So these are not countersunk head screw, they're Allen bolts. Actually, they're 12-point flathead bolts that go in there. So that came out in 70, was it 76 or 77? I think 77 is when they changed those on Harley. So that's also when they changed from quarter 24 thread to quarter 20 thread. So they updated it. So this is a hydraulic lifter. You can see the hydraulic unit in there. So the hydraulic unit is actually inside of the lifter. It's two separate pieces. It's not the same thing. This one appears to be stuck. It's hard to believe. With Harley parts it gets stuck. But so there's the piston came out. The hydraulic unit is still stuck in there. That is some nice refreshing oil smell. Whew. Yeah, smell that carburetor cleaner. So anyway, this is the piston that goes up and down in the cylinder. It's like in your motor, and that's how the hydraulics work. They pump up. You see how that didn't pump, it just went straight down, so not a lot of sealing there. So these lifters look like they might be frozen in here a little bit. Wouldn't be a bit surprised. So the hydraulic unit is not in this one, so we're just going to beat the lifter out with a hammer and a punch. See if it'll come out. If you want to save it, use a piece of aluminum. If you don't give a squat, use a piece of steel. And if you hit it on something solid, it'd be a lot better than just holding it here in my hand, but it doesn't sound like it wants to move. So if you want to see if it's going to move or not, go like that. See how it actually went down? That's a good sign. That means it should come out the other end when you beat on it. So once again, if you got it on a vise or something, you hit it, hold it, you can get a nice firm hit on it and it won't damage it. Just make sure you're sitting either flat on this surface here or on the gasket, but not on both. I'm going to sit on one or the other. I like being on the unmachined part, so I'll sit on the flat parts here and just kind of hold this, let the block hold it. Try not to hit on the fillet, which is your radius part. Make sure it's on the flat part, so if you can wiggle around a little bit, you're good. Came right out. Two for two. Here we go. Definitely got that nice carburetor dip smell to it. Carb cleaner. There you go. Dash 53 Harley lifter. That means it came in 1953, in case you didn't know what those dash numbers mean. That's on the part number. So the tappet roller might be frozen up a little bit. Oh, it's trying to move. So if you're really, really cheap, you can get in there and clean all that crap out and get it freed up again and put it back in your motor. But it will probably be failing like 500 miles and take the motor out. But you know, if you're really, really cheap though, you can do that. The hydraulic unit, I don't think it's going to ever work again, but you never know. It might. You put 70 weight motor oil in it, it might fly. And it doesn't look like it's worn too awful bad in here, so the lifter body might be good. Put a new roller in it and shit kind of hydraulic unit, put a solid in there, and you'll be good. You never know. You'd be surprised how bad these things can look and still be usable. You just can't use all these other parts like the rollers and stuff like that. So you have to measure these to see what diameter they are. If it's more than a 3 thou taper, it's not the best. You're allowed up to, you know, you can go up to 5, but it's getting pretty bad if you got 5 thou in there. Where, well, they stink though. The lifter blocks, same deal. They're, you look how worn the blocks are on the inside. When they're real bad like this, you go blast them. You give it a quick shot in the hone to clean the bore up. You see how bad it is. And then if it's not too awful bad, you reuse it. If it's really bad, you hone it out, put a 5 over or 10 thou over lifters in it, and then start over. It's like having new piston in your cylinders. You just make them bigger. So this has a 73 number on it, even though they didn't go to this bolt until 77. Can't always go by numbers. So there you go. And you also know it's not 79 or 80 because see a little small hole in there? When you get up to 80 or so, they made it like 3 times looking bigger than that. It's only about 50% bigger diameter, but it looks like it's 3 times bigger. And that's the hole that drains down through the lifter body through here when you drain down. So the oil drains through this hole, comes out the bottom down here. So the oil that's up in your pushrod covers will drain back through that hole. If you don't have that hole, if you have that hole really small, your covers will retain a lot of oil. So when you pop your coverage adjustment, it just pours out about 2 or 3 ounces of oil. That's because these holes here are not big enough to go through. The later motors, they put bigger holes in them. It's hard to do that because the drill bits like to break when you try to jam them in there like that, but I've seen people do it. This one is the big problem one because see it's right up against the edge, and if it gets to the edge of that, the cork will not seal and it'll leak like a sieve. So you might actually hurt yourself by doing mods like that because it'll make it leak oil. That was the one. Now this one here is the rear one. Now the way you tell it's a rear one because it's not marked is when it's on the motor. This here is up against the cylinder and this oil hole here is on the rear. So it's the rear cylinder. If it was on the front, it'd be the front cylinder. So here's the front one. See how it's on the front. Now this one's also broken, which is a problem. And this is also an early one. See how it's tapered hole? See how this one's flat? You got a flat hole and countersunk hole. This takes an oval head screw. I said this takes a 12-point basic bolt. So this one here has been broken. Now you can braze these up, file them back flat, and rehit them with a countersink and reuse them and save the block. These are cast iron, so they're pretty good. They're not too hard to fix, but it's time and effort. And this one's another one that's all rusted in there, just like I just knocked the other one out. It's got the real small hole in it again. So this one just, you know, it's just an early one because it has this in there. Now I can't tell the difference between a 40s, a 50s, or a 60s, or 70s. You know, they all look about the same, but there's probably some numbers in here that might be slightly different maybe in here, how they cast them over the years. I never really paid attention, so I can't tell you exactly when these things are made. I just know it's before 77 because it doesn't have the flathead screws in there. Or the the flat surface. It's not a flathead screw. A flathead screw is a straight across screw. This is like a bolt. So, all right. So the case, and when you look at the case, you see right here. See how the holes are right here. And the other one's right there. So you put them under like that. That's how you tell the front and the back by just looking at them. The other thing you look at on the lifter block when you look at it, see how this is kind of triangle shaped looking block, trapezoidal shape a little bit. See how this one's more square? So the more square one is the back hole. The more triangular looking one is the front hole. Go like that. So there you go. So that's the front and the back. Now they're upside down this way. That's why the holes are apart. When you flip them over like that, this is how they actually sit in the bike. It's like this. And the oil holes are right here. So it's right here on this side, see? That's how you do it. Easy to tell. So let's see if we can get this other two out here without destroying anything. Might be able to get them apart. These ones are definitely more rusty than the other ones. See, this one we don't have such a flat surface to work off with. There's almost nothing here to hit against. But I think there's just enough there to hit against. Okay. I don't think it's going to come out with this flimsy ass one. See how it starts to bend when you keep bitting on that? I'm going to switch over to something a little more substantial. I'm going to go over to a softer steel one. And usually I keep one of these sides a little bit radius on the end, so that's this side. So it doesn't hit so hard. Got a lot of turds in this thing. A little bit of lube on there would have helped, but it's coming. So this is a little bit more rusty. Nice, good powdery rust. When you beat it out, you really smell it. This one's solid. Oh, there it is. Got a little clearance. See, that's clearance right there. See? So if you got a little clearance, go back and forth. It turns into more clearance. All of a sudden it starts to spin. Oh, it just made a large amount of dirt just fell on the floor that came out of that. Now my rug's all full of dirt down there. Look at all that crap down there. See it? Yeah. Excuse my feet. All right, so that's a custom lifter there. See if this one will come out. This seems to be a little harder. It's coming though, I can hear it. So it's very important you got to get a device where it sits flat so you don't break anything. Hitting it that hard on the gasket surface, you might break a corner off, so you got to be careful. It has powder in it, see? Oh, this is a good one. Got a racing lifter in it. Look at that. Look how much clearance you got in that thing. Yeah, there's so much clearance in that one, the rust didn't even fill it in. Yeah, that's a good one. Sounds good too. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Racing fit. Yep. See, it'll start and run on it. It's not the best, but it'll run. Won't run for a long time, but it will run. Let's see how bad these things really are. Now, you should clean these rust out before you measure them, but... Okay, so... When you're on your micrometer, if you're between 5 and 6, usually it's 5 to 5.5, you're standard. So that wear is real heavy right down here at the bottom. See right here, it's a heavy load area. And they also wear up here on the top, but down here is where they really wear a lot. So if you want to check your lifter, see how good it is, go right to the bottom, and you measure it. And see how I'm right on the 5 on the dumber? So that's standard, it's not worn. This lifter looks like crap, but it's a very good lifter actually. Now you go up here and measure it up here, and see we're, with the rust, we're a little bit over 6. So when you clean the rust off, it'll drop down in size. Go over here a little bit. See over here I'm at 4 1/4 so. So it's got about a thou wear up on the top. So it's actually a very, very good lifter. So all you gotta do is go and change out this roller down here. Now this is an early lifter, because see how it's got, the way this is made down here? That's early. See later lifters, see how they're made? They're just like a rivet beat over. So these ones are beat over, they get this like a screwdriver slot beat into them. That's early, so that's going to be your 60s and 50s style lifter. This one here is going to be out of shovelhead style, or it's been replaced before. So when they start looking like this is late stuff. When you see this stuff like this, it's early. So even though it looks like crap, that's actually a really, really good lifter. Looks can be deceiving. This one's pretty big too. We're over 6 with all the dirt on it. And down here we're at 6 over here still too. So that's another good lifter. Looks like crap, but it's a good lifter. Just needs new rollers. Got to put new rollers on it though. Definitely need a roller kit. That one's 5, 6 almost. And these are all up in there. That's 5 to 6 6+ area. Let's see, we got rust down here, but yeah, these are pretty nice looking. That's 3. Here's the last one with the roller. Now you can see the acid etching mark. That's from the dirty oil where you never change your oil. See, I guess that kind of wet look to it there with a mark on it. That's from very nasty oil. And once again, we're at 6, and that doesn't really have much rust on it. So that's a good lifter too. So we actually have a good set of lifters here. That hydraulics junk and these rollers are junk, but the lifter's good. So you put a new lifter kit in here, rivet them in there, and you're going down the road. Good deal. So this whole purchase now is worth more money. Now, did I buy it for this block? I didn't see the broken hole, or did I buy it for this block? It's coming the block. I don't remember, because aftermarket blocks don't have this cutout like this, figure 8 shape. They're just straight across, look like crap. These look a lot better, I think. So I don't remember if I saw this or not. I don't remember. Maybe, maybe not. Depends how much I paid for them. You know, if I paid a lot for them, I was looking for getting more of these. If it's cheap, I bought these. So who knows? I always figured the lifters are going to be bad, so I don't really care about those. You know, that's just a bonus. Those are usable. All right, there you go. I got a bunch of rust to clean up now.